Hi, it's Dr. Kimmery, and it is another beautiful day on my back deck, still doing lots of renovations. And I wanted to ask you, have you ever suffered from an emotional hangover? I never thought about that before, to be honest, and I've just came to me to call it that, and maybe people have done that before. But in the last several days, I found myself really feeling like I had the worst hangover of my life, because I was in situations dealing with people where I was swallowing a lot of my needs. I wasn't getting them met. I was putting myself out and not taking it very well. And so I say that to say that, well, so I spent literally up until yesterday physically releasing it. It was like heavy energy that just felt like I drank for 3 days straight and was exhausted. So what I want to say about that is, because when I mentioned it to a friend, he said something to the effect of emotional vampires. I try not to project it out to other people. I try not to diagnose people by saying, oh, narcissist or emotional vampires or this or that, because then that would leave me powerless. So there's always something that I can learn from every situation. One is to what I did learn from these several situations in a row were to be able to balance being heart-centered, being empathetic, seeing their point of view and needs and challenges and my own, and then being able to be strong enough to set a boundary and stay heart-centered without needing to make that other person necessarily to put a wedge between us, to put a wall between us, even if I don't agree with what they were doing, and I feel maybe even taken advantage of in some ways. I didn't feel respected in some ways. It doesn't mean that I have to change my character and act the way they're acting. I can still stay strong and heart-centered and get my needs met. And that's what I learned from it. It was several weeks of this balancing act. But what I learned was that I can implement what I need to have done and still stay in my power and heart-centered at the same time. And it wasn't easy. It actually, at one point, made me nauseous because I didn't want to have to be put in this position. And it was very hard for me, and it was definitely out of my wheelhouse of comfort. But I was being kind of forced to do it and called to do it and called to teach about it, right? So, because life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a workout. It's a constant workout. And we're going to keep, as soon as we do this one, we're going to build that muscle, and then we're going to be faced with it, they say new level, new devil kind of thing, right? It's another challenging peak. It's like when we're hiking a mountain. It's like we get that one peak and we make it there, and then the next one's just maybe a little more difficult. And that's what this was. But I always try to come out with it learning something. And what I learned is that even though I had to put people in their place, I can still send love from a distance, just because love is where joy emanates in me. If I stop loving and if I stop coming from my heart, then I'm not happy and joyous either, right? Because as soon as we disconnect from, as soon as we start acting separate, then we feel separate too. We feel isolated. I know that's a lot to take in one small video, but that is the truth, is that we are all one and we can learn from every situation. And when we can open and send it love, we free ourselves and we free the other person from having to continue battling back and forth. So that's what I learned. But I did have definitely an emotional hangover from it that lasted several days, and I felt my energy coming back last night as I was reflecting on it and as I was able to take this nugget along with me moving forward. And just, again, taking that time and being kind to myself, taking that time to slow down and just allow myself to be replenished. So that is my message, is to, when you need to slow down and you need to back up, do so. But when you back up, claim your power. Don't leave the situation by thinking that you were victimized and that you had no choices in the matter, because then you're going to get it again and you're going to have to learn that one again, right? There are choices, there are always choices. Sometimes it's to use our voice in a way that is really uncomfortable, and that's what happened for me. But it's still necessary in order for us to learn and grow and be the best version of ourselves. So that's my message. I love you lots. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.